All right, hello there. Welcome to another everyday encouragement. I'll do something a bit different today. I want to look again at anxiety like we did last time, but I want to just look at the text here today and see what's here, see what Jesus teaches us about anxiety. Luke 12:22-32. And Jesus said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, what you will put on." So here we find the basic command, right? Do not be anxious about your life. Now there's things that we might be anxious about right now. Maybe losing our job. What happens if the stores close, which they probably won't. But whatever we might be afraid of, whatever we might be anxious about, we're anxious about these kinds of things, right? What we will eat, what we will wear. And Jesus says, don't worry about these things. Don't be anxious about these things. And the question is, how do we not worry? And what I love about the Bible is that it gives us reasons. And so we're going to look at all the reasons Jesus gives us. So the first reason is right here. He says, "For life is more than food, and the body is more than clothing." That's a reason, right? Our purpose, the reason God made us, isn't mainly to pursue food and clothing, but that we might pursue God's glory. And so let's keep that our main focus. But don't we need food and don't we need clothing in this life? Yes, we do. And so Jesus now gives us more reasons to not be anxious. So here's the second reason. He says, "Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap. They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds?" So we're supposed to consider the ravens. And how do we obey this? Well, we literally consider the ravens. So if you're driving, or if you can look out your window, look at the birds, look at the ravens, look at the crows. See, God is feeding them. God is giving them what they need. And we can learn from this. We can learn about God. And Jesus says, how much more value are you than the birds? I had a professor that pointed out that this verse was the only verse in all of Scripture that highlighted the value of us. And he said, we are more valuable than the birds. This is good news. We get another reason. Reason number 3. Which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life? If then you're not able to do a small thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? So anxiety doesn't contribute to the length of your life. It doesn't help you. It's not serving you. And Jesus says, if you can't add even a single hour to your life, why be anxious about all the food and clothing we might need until we get to the end of our lives? He's saying, this is a waste of your energy. This is a waste of your time, of your mental capacity. We can't change anything with anxiety. Reason number 4. He says, consider the lilies. Now we're going to flowers. How they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Now there's not a lot of flowers blooming if you're in Manitoba where I am. Maybe Google a picture of flowers. But you'll notice that the richest king, Solomon, who ever lived, was not dressed like the flowers. And then God, or Jesus says here, if God so clothes the grass, which is alive in the field today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? If he cares for the grass, he's going to care for us. Remember, because we're of more value than the birds and more value than the grass of the field. Reason number 5. Verse 29, and do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink, nor be worried. Same commandment, again repeated. Why? Here's the reason. For all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your Father knows that you need them. Everyone in the world is busy chasing after these things and hoarding toilet paper and seeking food and drink and clothing. But he says, you have a Father in heaven who already knows what you need. His point is that we're not orphans, and so we should stop living like orphans. That's what Jesus is saying here. Orphans fear. if they'll have breakfast in the morning, if they'll have enough for tomorrow or for the next month. But Jesus says we have a Father, and He knows what we need, and He wants to give it to us. And then finally, instead of worrying, seek His kingdom. And these things, it's clothes, food, will be added to you. So instead of seeking the physical things we need, instead of worrying about that, Jesus says, seek the kingdom, seek the things that are above, pursue a greater love for Christ, pursue holiness, love the church, love your neighbor, preach the gospel to the lost, and your Father who clothes the grass and who feeds the ravens and who knows what you need and who can add time to your life, He will take care of you while you're pursuing the kingdom. So I hope this is encouraging for you. Let's not be anxious. Let's fight against our anxiety with the promises of Scripture. See you next time.